Hello everyone, and welcome back to Turkish series stars. If you love being the first to hear what's really going on behind the scenes, make sure you're subscribed and stay with us, because today's story has set the entire fandom buzzing. The spotlight is on Yagmmer Yüksel after whispers emerged that she turned down a massive television series at the last moment. According to insiders, the production had her as their top pick for the female lead. Everything looked lined up, and meetings were already underway. But the mood changed when she learned that the team was seriously considering Barış Baktas as the male lead. That's when, as one source put it, she drew a line. She is said to have told the producers something along the lines of, "I appreciate the offer, but I can't move forward. I don't want to work with him." From that moment, the entire internet took sides. Fans, blindsided by the rumor, immediately began debating. After all, they still remember the firecracker chemistry that Yagmmer and Barış created on screen, those stolen glances, the breathless pauses, the way even silence felt charged when they shared a frame. Why walk away from a sure hit? For some, the answer is simple: personal limits. Others think there's more to it, a thread that goes beyond scripts and lights and rehearsals. A source who claims to know both of them well painted a picture that surprised no one who had read between the lines before. According to that person, the set wasn't always easy the last time they collaborated. There were days when tension hung in the air like fog, tiny disagreements and mismatched rhythms that added up to longer stretches of awkward quiet. The same source even said it wasn't unusual for them to finish their scenes and head in separate directions without a goodbye. Not dramatic, not explosive, just distance. Unresolved, persistent, and real. While the rumor storm was raging, Barış stayed away from official statements. Instead, he let a photograph do the talking, a moody shot of him facing the horizon, paired with a caption that sounded like a decision wrapped in a lesson. He wrote that sometimes a door won't close on its own, and when it doesn't, you have to be the one to pull it shut so you don't repeat the same mistake twice. It was reflective, almost stoic, and of course it sent everyone into full-on analysis mode. Was that about the new project? Was it about his co-star? Was it about a chapter he feels ready to leave behind? Then the narrative shifted again when Yagmmer stepped out at a fashion event. Cameras flashed, stylists hovered, a champagne buzz filled the air. But during a quick moment with reporters, she cut through the noise with the kind of clarity that only comes from knowing exactly where you stand. She confirmed she'd received a major offer, and then she added that she walked away because she refuses to fake a connection that doesn't feel right. "I choose what I say yes to," she said, making it clear it wasn't the script, it wasn't scheduling, it wasn't logistics. It was emotional. It was personal. It was a choice that had more to do with her own balance and boundaries than ratings or money. The reaction was immediate and divided. Plenty of fans applauded her for protecting her peace, praising the way she refused to let herself be pulled back into a pairing that might look beautiful on screen but feel heavy in real life. Others, heartbroken, had hoped for a reunion. This was the duo they'd fallen in love with. This was the couple whose posters still sit framed on bedroom walls, whose scenes get clipped and re-edited into fan videos that gather millions of views. For those fans, the idea of never seeing them together again felt like a door closing on a favorite chapter. Critics stepped in with their own takes, many of them surprisingly sympathetic to Yagmmer. Several voices called her decision a striking show of self-possession. One commentator put it this way: "Not everyone has the spine to say no when that no is the only way to protect your inner life." Another critic noted how rare it is, especially for actresses in major markets, to turn down an opportunity that promises a guaranteed hit. For them, what she did wasn't defiance for defiance's sake, it was a grown-up refusal to trade comfort for clout. Still, there was another angle that refused to fade. Some observers insisted that the refusal was less about independence and more about unhealed emotions. According to that theory, it wasn't just that the on-screen duo had become complicated. It was that their off-screen chapter, whatever it was, had never truly found a clean ending. Those who support this idea dug up old behind-the-scenes clips, the kind people scroll past 1,000 times without noticing until the day they don't. In one snippet that made the rounds again, Barış tried to lighten the mood with a joke between takes, and Yagmmer turned her face away with a tight, unreadable smile. Maybe it meant nothing. But in this new context, it felt like a tiny window into a room no one else was allowed to enter. And here's where things get even more interesting. The production behind this new series wasn't just thinking big, they were thinking sentimental. We've learned they were preparing a reunion piece that leaned straight into nostalgia, with an evocative working title, Sonsuzaskin Yeniden Degusu. The idea was to harness a golden memory and revive it for a new era, to give fans the sensation of coming home to a love story they already knew. That's why, insiders say, Yagmmer's Refusal hit the team so hard. This wasn't just any project. It was a reverberation of everything they had once been to audiences. And saying no to it was like saying no to a myth. Then came a note from someone who claimed to have written for one of their old shows. A former screenwriter who stopped just short of naming names. The writer hinted that the friction between the two stars had never been purely professional. There were emotional undercurrents, something warm and complicated flowing beneath the scripts, and when that current stopped moving the same way for both of them, it left eddies and whirlpools where calm used to be. That suggestion, that the conflict wasn't simply about schedules and creative notes, fed the conversation for days. It gave a cleaner outline to a silhouette everyone had been squinting at for years. Online, the arguments took on a life of their own. Who created the space first? Was it Barış, pulling back with the quietness of someone who refuses to argue? Or was it Yagmmer, ending a private understanding and choosing to keep walking without turning around? Every thread found its loyalists. Some pointed to moments where Barış seemed increasingly reserved during press junkets, answering in short sentences and choosing polite distance over charming banter. Others shared old interviews where Yagmmer's tone softened when his name came up, then tightened again the next second, as if she had rehearsed a neutrality she didn't entirely feel. And just when it seemed like speculation would burn itself out, Barış posted another cryptic line. He wrote that not every comment needs a response. Sometimes the quiet is kinder than applause. It wasn't barbed, it wasn't bitter, just restrained. But restraint, in the hands of a star with millions of watchful followers, can be louder than anger. Immediately, people read into it. Was the silence a shield? A dignified exit? Or was it a tender way to avoid inflaming a story that had nothing left to offer but ash? Meanwhile, the machine of television rolled forward. With Yagmmer out of the picture, the production started scouting for another leading lady who could carry the same weight and still make the show feel fresh. Early whispers claimed they were considering Demet Özdemir and Tuba by Austin, names that guarantee a wave of new attention the moment they're attached to anything. Whether one of them steps into the role or the producers find an unexpected newcomer, the casting will be watched as closely as a championship final. For her part, Yagmmer didn't shrink from the spotlight. She made a radiant appearance at a charity gala soon afterward, sleek dress, calm smile, a quiet glow that cameras couldn't resist. When a reporter tried to draw her back into the storm, she chose a statement that sounded like a boundary and a mantra in one. She said her energy isn't there to feed dramas that aren't hers. It was a gentle refusal to pick up a torch that other people were already running with. A refusal to be drafted into a narrative she no longer wanted to live. The reaction to that line was swift and passionate. Admirers called it graceful, even noble, the kind of sentence that people screenshot to keep on their phones for the bad days. Others, still clinging to the dream of a reunion, wondered aloud if this really was the last page of the story. Could there be a twist? Could time soften edges that feel sharp right now? The public split down the middle. One side holding out hope for a comeback, on screen and off, and the other insisting that growth sometimes means walking away from the thing you once loved most. What no one can deny is the cultural imprint of Yagmmer, Yüksel and Barış backed us together. Their work isn't just a collection of scenes, it's a memory palace for millions. Every time their names appear in the same sentence, the room fills with an old electricity. Even their critics, even the people who say it's better to move on, can't help but slow down when they hear a rumor of the two of them. That's star power, but it's also something far more human. It's the echo of a feeling so many people recognize, the one where you look at someone and can't help imagining every possible future in a single second. Maybe that's why this particular no has felt so dramatic. In an industry where almost everything can be negotiated, where schedules bend and scripts are rewritten and old grudges get packaged into new storylines, there's something rare about seeing a line that does not move. If the chemistry won't be honest, Yagmmer said, it won't be. If the silence says more than an explanation, Barış implied, then let it speak. Two decisions, made separately, that somehow align in their refusal to perform a closeness that doesn't belong to them anymore. So here we are, with a project that will go on without the pairing that once defined it. Here we are, with producers reshuffling, with fans re-watching old scenes and noticing details they missed, with op-eds weaving neat theories out of messy realities. And here we are with a question that refuses to sit still. Is this the end, or just an interval before a surprise return? Does time work like a healer in this story, or is it simply the distance that finally lets two people breathe? Maybe the answer is as simple as the choices they've already made. Yagmmer claimed her space, and she did it without malice. Barış chose his silences, and he did it without theatrics. Both of them are navigating a world where every breath becomes a headline, and somehow they've managed to do it with the kind of restraint that makes you remember they're human first. Whatever happened between them, on screen or off, it gave us something rare while it lasted. And whatever happens next, together, apart, or on completely different paths, will be watched, measured, and felt by people who have invited these two into their living rooms, into their playlists, into their quiet evenings after long days. So tell us what you think. Did Yagmmer make the right call by stepping away from a project built on a connection she doesn't want to force? Do you believe a reunion, on set or in life, is still possible, or is this the graceful ending to a beautiful chapter? Drop your thoughts below, because this conversation belongs to all of us who have laughed, cried, and held our breath while watching them. And as always, stay with Turkish series stars for every twist, every whisper, and every confirmed update from the world of Turkish entertainment. This story isn't done teaching us about boundaries, about timing, and about the quiet courage it takes to mean you know, and to stand by it when the whole world is begging for a yes.